Good morning, Thailand. Welcome to the show today. I am joined by the Thaiger's own Michelle Mishy Mouse Lim. She's on our team. She does a lot of content creation for us, doing a lot of good stuff behind the scenes. How you doing today, Michelle?
I'm good. Thank you for inviting me over. I'm excited to be here. I think this is my first time.
First time with me, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining me today. Let's get into some of these stories that we're pumping out over here at Thaiger. Michelle, can you start us off?
Okay. So the first story, Thai woman dies 6 hours after breast surgery. Lawyer says clinic doesn't have license.
Mm-hmm.
Police have launched an investigation to a clinic in Pak Kret district of Nonthaburi province near Bangkok in central Thailand after a customer lost consciousness and died just 6 hours after her breast augmentation surgery, which was in March 23rd.
Mm-hmm.
And the lawyer of the Department of Health Legal Division says the breast augmentation is considered a major operation, but the clinic only holds a license to perform minor surgeries.
Mm-hmm.
And the deceased family is demanding 10 million baht, which is around $290,000 from the clinic, but they only agreed to pay for the initial 100,000 baht cost of covering the funeral costs. So that's all they paid for.
Yeah, what? They killed her. This is a wrongful. I'm sure they didn't mean to kill her, but they did. And like you said, the clinic was operating without a license.
Exactly. Well, I looked at a documentary actually last week about surgeries. Well, that was a different surgery. It was more like aesthetic surgery,
Cosmetic
surgery,
facial.
But most of the people are operating without a license. But I was quite surprised because this seems to be a well-known clinic.
Yeah, I know. I saw the footage. I mean, it was an operation.
Yeah.
Right? This was like a big business that was operating, but apparently illicitly. So this is big business here, right? Cosmetic surgeries, plastic surgeries.
It is big in Thailand.
Very big. I mean, they have special medical visas just for people to come in to do this kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I guess, there's some black market activity in this industry as well.
And also for the customers, they would prefer to, obviously a license person is better, but it's cheaper and more accessible.
Yeah, I know. But usually you don't want cheap and accessible for surgeries. So, make sure you're doing your research, guys. Make sure that your clinic is licensed and authorized by the government to perform these surgeries. Now, the Nonthaburi police are going to investigate and present their findings tomorrow. So we should have an update for you, if not tomorrow, then next week, on what's going to happen. Are people going to go to jail? I assume there's going to be some heavy punishments handed out to the people involved in this. So we'll keep you posted. And tragic. And no victim blaming. Obviously, this woman was just trying to go in for a surgery. But, man, be careful, guys, because, this was only 6 hours after the surgery and boom, gone.
Yeah.
Terrible, terrible, terrible story. So sorry to start your day like that, everybody. Let's move on to some other news now.
Okay.
All right, and it's I don't know if it's lighter, but let's talk about it. So about 7,000 Russians and Ukrainians are now stranded in Thailand. So while it's common to discuss the influx of Russians as they pour into the country and are investing more and more in villas and homes, it's easy to forget about the thousands of people who are not staying by choice in Thailand. Around 7,000 Russians and Ukrainians are currently stranded in Thailand due to the ongoing war between the two countries. Many of them are in Phuket, an island that used to attract 7 million overseas visitors every year. The collapse of tourism due to the pandemic has already caused a lot of damage. And while the island is welcoming back tourism now, the situation with stranded Russians and Ukrainian tourists looms in the background. Now, the Russians have become the largest group of foreign visitors in Phuket, with around 17,000 arriving in December. Signs in Cyrillic script and restaurants serving traditional Russian dishes like borscht and pelmeni dumplings are now common sights in the area to cater to the Russian tourists. Phuket's always been a very popular destination for Russians, but particularly now. Their options for travel are much more limited than they were in the past because of this conflict going on. And Thailand is still one of the places where they can come. And they're not just coming, they're staying as well. Can you blame them?
Do you, just curious, like, is the government doing anything? Are you aware to help the people who are stranded?
Yeah, so I'm actually not sure what kind of refugee status or things like that would be offered. Let's take a look. So for the Ukrainians here that were stranded, where are we? Oh yeah, the stranded tourists are being offered. Thank you for reminding me. They are being offered 90-day visa extensions. But some worry that their money's not going to last here because with those visa extensions do not come working rights.
Yeah.
So, the Ukrainian embassy in Thailand has received more than 100 offers from Thai residents offering free accommodation for war refugees. And some hotels and hostels have offered discounts for long stay rooms. But the Thai government is still looking for methods for stranded Russians to move money out of Russia to Thailand to pay for their stay.
Well, it is tough. Well, I'm from Myanmar. There's also a situation going in Myanmar. So we struggle with money a lot as well, just transferring money. Even the ATMs in Myanmar are not working and transferring the money over here. So it's not just like providing a place for us to stay. Well, I don't think they're providing refugee status to Burmese people as well. So we have to cling on to the visa that we have.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Military conflict, we see these things, and of course the human cost is terrible, destroying buildings, cities, that kind of thing. But also financial systems get locked, and people there's the stability of the entire economy gets rocked by these events. And here's an example of it. Now, other countries are we're helping to pick up the pieces. I think it's great. That Thailand is trying to provide these opportunities to let them stay here. But, is this a permanent solution or are we going to have to revisit this as things continue?
Yeah.
All right. Well, speaking of visas, let's move on to the next one. What is happening with Thailand's 45-day visa exemption policy? All right, now the Tourism Authority of Thailand wants to see the 45-day visa-free stays for tourists from 64 countries extended until the end of the 2023 to boost tourism recovery. The TAT proposed the extension in January, but the policy is set to end this Friday, March 31st. And the cabinet still hasn't reached a decision on whether it will be continued. That's what the TAT told us the other day. Now, the cabinet convenes on Tuesdays, so perhaps a decision will be made next week. Or perhaps the decision was made on Tuesday and has not yet been announced. So we are expecting that decision to come in the beginning of April. So Thailand gives tons of visa-free entry to a lot of different countries. That's a big reason why tourism is so
pouring in
big here. What do you think about this? These they were 15-day and 30-day visa on arrivals. Now they're longer. Should Thailand continue these?
Well, I think it definitely helps the economy. So it says here that, well, if the tourists spend on average of 3,000 baht per day, so that's, 10 more days is 30,000 baht per tourist. So everyone's winning in this situation. So I have a feeling they might extend it.
Yeah, it seems like it's just a win-win, right? Hey, we can easily do this, right? We're the ones controlling it.
Yeah.
And it's popular, brings in money.
Yeah.
And I think maybe the concern is like we were just talking about that story, people abusing it, overstaying it. But I mean, if you're doing visa-free entry, that's probably going to happen anyways, right? So whether it's 30 days or 45 days, you're going to get people abusing the system. So, we'll see.
Well, I read a comment on Thaiger Talk as well, and somebody said that, will it actually work? Because it's so hot in Thailand right now. Are people going to stay 15 more days here?
Oh yeah, well, fair enough. But I mean, you're not coming to Thailand for skiing, right? You're here for the beaches, right?
The beach in this heat?
Yeah, I mean, okay, whatever. It's still get in the ocean, you'll be fine. But yeah, I think this is a good policy, and I think it's definitely going to help to boost tourism all around the country.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anyways, we're going to take a quick commercial break, guys. And after that, we have a couple of more stories for you to send you off into your Thursday. See you soon.
And join the fun at Carnival Magic, the world's first Thai carnival theme park. Don't miss the opportunity to experience the enchantment of the magical wonders at the one, the only Carnival Magic Phuket.
Welcome back, everybody. this show is brought to you by Carnival Magic. It is a carnival fantasy. If you're down in Phuket, go say hi, get some drinks, have some fun, bring your friends and family. All right, now back to the stories. More tourism news as flight prices are expected to remain high for up to 3 years. All right, now global aviation has taken off to a promising start this year, with the Pacific Asia Travel Association predicting a 71% growth rate for the region. The downside is that the recovering industry can't get enough labor to keep up the massive swell in demand that has brought with it a massive swell in flight prices. So travel restrictions, they are being lifted worldwide, making it easier and more convenient for air travel. And even the ultra lockdown China is starting to allow a lot more travel. So there's a big influx of Chinese tourists to everywhere, but especially Thailand. But their delay in reopening left Asia lagging in recovery. So as the World Tourism Organization believes Europe and the Middle East will reach 80 to 95% of its pre-pandemic numbers this year, China will lag behind those numbers, maybe until 2024. So, the airlines had to shut down very quickly, right? Like when everything kicked off.
Yeah.
So that meant a lot of people losing jobs, and now it's all coming back. It's a lot easier to lay people off, right? It's a lot easier to fire people than it is to hire them on and to train them and to make sure that they are ready for this massive amount of demand.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think this is quite similar to even like generally in Thailand, now that the tourism sector is kicking off again, especially the hotels, they're struggling hiring people.
Yeah.
So this is quite similar.
All hospitality, all of this tourism industry is facing similar struggles. You're right.
Yeah.
And, but man, I got to say, travel is where people are the most stressed out, right? We all saw the videos over the past couple of years, people freaking out and like, you know, it seems like it's more of a high stress situation. It's more difficult maybe to attract talent to those positions. Like working at hotels and that hospitality, it's all right, you're friendly, you're smiling. When you're on an airplane, you're a little trapped and the emotions are a little bit different. So if you're interested in jobs in the airline industry, it's probably a good time to be looking.
Yeah.
Because they need you. All right. Well, anyways, let's take a look at our last story, and we get to talk about a very strange one. So, Michelle, can you take us away for this one?
This is a good one. No, not really.
Well, it's interesting.
Foreigner deported from China for using cannabis in Thailand. A foreigner of unknown nationality was allegedly deported from Shanghai, China for testing positive for cannabis upon returning from Thailand, where marijuana is obviously legal here. Getting high is normal in Thailand since cannabis was decriminalized almost a year ago, but China doesn't share Thailand's liberal stance on the plant. According to the British Consulate General Shanghai, police drug tests can detect if you have taken drug within the previous 3 months. Testing positive in China, no matter in which country you took drugs, is against the law. So you will be detained by the police, and it can lead to detention of up to 15 days, a fine, a deportation, and even longer sentences. So far, more than 40 British nationals have been arrested and deported under this policy from China. Very interesting policy, right? Like, okay, even if it's legal where you are, it's not legal here. So, you know, this raises a lot of interesting questions, right? Yeah.
Like, what about other things that are illegal in China but legal other places, right? So cannabis, this is an easy one because they can test for it.
Yeah.
But what about gambling, for example? You can't gamble in China, but you can in Macau. So why is that allowed, right? Like, why is that okay? Other things too, like maybe sex work is another thing, right? That's not legal in China. So if you were in a place where it was legal, is that going to be held against you? Even things like your social media posts, right? Because that stuff is pretty tightly controlled in China too.
Yeah.
So, what effect do you think this has on China attracting talent?
Attracting talent?
Or Western. So, for example, China has a massive demand for teachers. And who are those teachers? Early 20s, mid 20s, Western kids who are now coming from places where marijuana is legal.
Yeah.
So,
Well, there are 41 Brits detained in the past 12 months. My question is, are they testing everyone, every tourist?
No, I don't think so. I think it's random, but it's producing arrests. Yeah, I'm assuming they're probably doing some profiling too. Because I don't think a lot of the Chinese coming back into China are going to be at risk of this, but tons of the Westerners and other foreigners will be. So that's speculation, but I did live in China for a long time, and I have a good idea of what going through their immigration is like. And yeah, let me just tell you, if you didn't have the right passport, you were going to get a hard time. Yeah, anyways, weird news.
Well,
Careful,
if you're
guys.
traveling to China, this is something you should watch out for sure.
Take a little detox for a while.
For 3 months.
Yeah,
3
apparently,
months.
man. So
That's
be careful.
impossible. You could be near a person who smokes up.
I don't even know, man. So just be careful, guys. Know that this is happening. All right. Well, anyways, thank you, Michelle, for joining me today.
Lovely to be here.
Yeah. Let's do it again sometime. That was fun. Thank you guys for joining us. And yeah, have a great Thursday. And we'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.